I started by walking the ground actually. So I remember my first one was at West Coast Market. It was quite funny. I didn't know I turned up in a white shirt.
Wrong party.
And then during photo taking, they said maybe we just stand at the side. Yeah.
How is PSP going to survive? What are they going to do?
We definitely need to walk the ground more and improve our social media game. Definitely.
Yeah.
Online, somebody took a snapshot of all of us, everybody at the round table. Then they were like, if this is a classroom, this is the what student, what kind of student. Then mine was like mager or something, studious. Like for instance, in the case of PSLE, the pro is that it's a milestone for the kids, it's a checkpoint for them, right? But what about the cons, right? And then now let's look at the cons of it.
If you love this podcast, chances are you value real conversation. The kind that's honest, emotional, and stays with you. Now imagine a conversation like that about someone you love. That's what we do with our audio service called Folklory. We hop on a 30-minute call with you or someone you choose and turn that conversation into a beautifully crafted, personalized podcast for your loved one. A gift that shows them how much they mean to you and how much you appreciate them, which they can listen to forever. And we guarantee that it'll be one of the most meaningful things you have ever given them. Because we'll use everything we've learned from interviewing more than 1,000 people across 20 countries over the past 5 years, including the Prime Minister of Singapore. And if you want to make it extra special, add on our limited edition Folklory speaker, styled as an old school cassette tape, so they can play their story anytime, anywhere. All the details are on folklory.com or reach out to us on WhatsApp at the link in the show notes. So hope you can check it out because we'd love to help you create something unforgettable. And now, on to the podcast. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of 𝗖𝗲, your thrice weekly podcast where we talk about the hottest news with a touch of what, Terence?
Good old humor.
Good old humor, man.
Yeah.
So today is a special episode.
Yes.
With someone who we've been wanting to get on the show for quite a while, since 𝗤𝗲 2025.
That's right.
Yeah, since especially after the roundtable in 𝗤𝗲 2025.
Yes.
So we have with us a parent, homemaker / housewife, ex-lawyer and current CEC member of the Progress Singapore Party, Stephanie Tan.
Hi.
Welcome to 𝗖𝗲.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Welcome to 𝗖𝗲. So I mean, we introduced you that way also because it's something that I've heard you be introduced with a lot of times, where it's always starting with homemaker and housewife, which I always found quite weird.
And why do you find it weird?
I mean, it just sets a certain thing like, I don't know, it puts a label on that you don't normally associate with a politician or someone who jumped from that to politician. It's always like, senior counsel this, executive or C-level suite this.
Yeah.
Correct.
So I feel starting with a homemaker, it kind of sets an expectation or association that is unnecessary. Do you feel that?
Not entirely, but I'm more interested to hear what Stephanie actually thinks about
otherwise we are just mansplaining.
Mansplaining about homemakers. But yeah.
Okay, yes, Stephanie.
Yes, Stephanie. Like, how do you feel about the way you were introduced during the 𝗤𝗲 period?
I think the reason why some people might feel it's a label or what is because there are some who feel that maybe a housewife or a homemaker is less, in and of itself. Like maybe because, I don't know, people feel that they don't see the contributions of a homemaker, which is actually quite a bit. It's not the easiest job. Yeah. And I have plenty of friends who have told me that I don't think I'll ever be able to be a homemaker like you. You know what I mean? Because women these days, they also want to go out. They want to pursue their own career. They want to have that independent ability to earn their own money, right? But a homemaker doesn't really allow you to do that. Yeah. But for me, and I understand that there are very few, or are there any politicians who, don't hold a full-time job elsewhere, but is a homemaker? So which is why I think when I came on, people were like, wow, it's very different. And I understand, that it's not something that is common. But my perspective is I don't think there's any thing that precludes somebody, from being a politician, right? And so when I was introduced in that way that you mentioned, I had to also get used to it myself at the start. But later I realized that I should just own it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And at the same time, I was very comforted when I had other people like DM me, PM me and tell me that, hey, I'm also a stay-at-home mom and I'm so glad that you're doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I also received a lot of that. Yeah.
So were there did you have any preference initially of how you would want to be introduced, like ex-lawyer or something like that first, before they started to use like Homemaker?
I mean, of course, from the party's perspective, they also want me to be introduced in a nicer, more professional way, right? So I think that's why we decided that we will mention both like current Homemaker and also like ex-lawyer to also let people know, have some sort of maybe assurance that I also do have some professional background. You know what I mean? Yeah, so that's how we settled on that.
I mean, your background is your professional background is very accomplished, all the way, sort of like almost like the Singapore track, right? I mean,
the Singapore dream track.
We say only because we have fallen off that track ourselves, right?
No lah, you guys are doing well.
We're off the track.
Yeah,
we're off the track. Let's not kid ourselves.
You go for your alumni dinners or that, you are definitely off the track.
Off the track.
But that's why it's quite interesting for us when we saw your background. Wow, high-flying lawyer, but even before that, you're talking about you went to the top schools in Singapore. Can we say what schools as well?
I think that's fine.
Yeah, we all the Raffles family, right? If anything, yeah. So, there is this certain expectation that if there's Raffles in your CV and everything, that there's a certain track for you in Singapore, right?
Correct.
But for you, you actually went further than us. You did the whole lawyer track as well, professional lawyer.
With a very prestigious firm,
very
also,
prestigious
Raja
firm,
and Tan.
Raja and Tan, right?
Yeah.
And
for a short while though, not that long.
Okay,
then I went into government.
Ministry of Law, right?
Yeah. But definitely along the way, you were on track. You were on track. But somewhere along the way, you decided, okay, maybe this track wasn't for you, right? Just what was your thought process behind that?
Okay, so when my first child was about 6 months old, that time I felt I had already gone back to work, right? After maternity leave, 4 months, right? So I went back to work.
And this was at Ministry of Law?
This was already at MINDEF.
Okay, MINDEF.
Okay.
Yeah, because I ended my MIN law, then I took my leave, maternity leave, then I started anew at MINDEF. Yeah. So at that point in time, I felt like, okay, that time I was still like breastfeeding my older one. So I was also quite preoccupied, with having to do that while being at work and all that.
Yeah.
But I mean, MINDEF had great facilities actually for mothers to do that.
Yeah.
But I felt that, this is my personal thing, I felt that I was neither here nor there. I felt like I couldn't give my 100% at work and also give my 100% to my child, So actually I requested for part-time at first. But there was no quota back then for it, not enough. Yeah, so I had to make the decision whether I wanted to continue full-time or quit. Yeah. So at that point in time, to me, I was thinking I'll just pause. I didn't think that I'll be doing this for 10 years. Yeah, it's 10 years now, because my older one is 10 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. So so back then I decided that I felt that she needed me more. Yeah, and I love kids very much. So I think that made it a bit easier, and a bit of an easier decision for me.
But at any point, did it feel like sometimes maybe a year in, you look at your peers and you look, was this the right choice? Or your conviction was very strong. The moment you decided, this was the thing that felt right. Because I will say, when we fell off the track, especially when things are not going the best, I look at my peers and I'm like, actually, what am I doing? And it's not easy to overcome. But somehow you find some way to overcome it. But were there any moments like that for you?
Actually, until today, I don't think like that, except for times when I think my kid makes me very upset. Then I'm like, Other than that, no.
We've all been there.
I see,
Yeah, you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sometimes feel like you're doing so much for them, then they're still making me so upset. Yeah.
But apart from that, that decision, that fork in the road, and your decision, you have never looked back at it, or there's never been points in time where you kind of regretted it,
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. And then fast forward, I think 7 years in, you started volunteering with PSP.
Yeah, I think 7 plus 8 years, correct. 2023 I joined.
But were you always interested in politics or policy, or what changed for you?
I think because I was in Min Law last time and I was doing legal policy work. So since then, I had sort of been exposed to policy. Although at that time, it was circumscribed to like the legal aspects of it. Like whether it's constitutional, the new laws that you're passing and all that kind of thing. Yeah, but ever since then, I do keep a lookout on things like policies that are passed. And yeah, I do have my opinions about these issues.
But why do you see politics as the way to effect change, you know, as in
correct.
There are a lot of things that, you know, in civil society you can volunteer or do things. But why for you was it so crystal clear that politics, like, you know, volunteering for a political party is the way to move forward?
I wouldn't say it was crystal clear for me, because actually at that point in time, 2023, my kids were older, right? So I felt that maybe now I can go out and do something.
Yeah.
You know? So I was thinking of either going back to work or looking at volunteering in, like you said, you know, civil organizations, NGOs, the kind.
Yeah.
Yeah. And at the same time, I was also considering everything, including joining a political party. Yeah. So, I mean, this is my own personal perspective, but to me, I'm also a volunteer, actually, even in a political party, right? Volunteering more broadly for Singapore, right? Yeah. So I was looking through my options and I felt that, maybe I should try out. Yeah, it wasn't like very clear. I didn't join to be a candidate or what. I just joined because I felt that I wanted to help in the process of like maybe doing some parliamentary work. Yeah. Yeah. Because at that time we had NCMPs.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So I did take note of the things that were happening in Parliament. Then I did notice that, you know, PSP was speaking up on issues. Then I felt that I wanted to help in that respect. And that is why I joined and how I joined. Yeah.
But you know, like there have been many people who were on the Singapore Dream path, which you were. They go into government, they change ministry. And I mean, I've heard this from people I know and people I trust. You know, they say they look at the policies that are coming out of this government, and the more they deal with it, the more they believe in it. But for you, you were in the Ministry of Law, you were in MINDEF, you took a break, and when you started thinking about volunteering for Singapore, you wanted to volunteer with an opposition party. So, like, did you already start to see certain things you didn't believe in while you were working at these ministries, or was it something over the 7 years? Like, what was your awakening that, okay, if I want to volunteer for Singapore, it is with a party like PSP?
I would say that right from the start, I knew that if I were to do something like that, it would be with an alternative party.
Right from the start, meaning at what point?
At what point? I think it just throughout my life, I think, I mean, starting from the point where I was cognizant of such issues, I think.
Which would be around, and I'm just asking to find out the origin of, you know, Stephanie Tan, the politician.
Actually, I've never even thought about that.
Now you have time to think.
Yeah, but I think I always felt that I tend to veer towards an area or somebody whom I feel needs my help more. You know what I mean? Like I felt that my child needed me more. Then I choose to do that. You know, and also for this, I feel that in our political landscape, to be honest, the ruling party has many people who want to join them. Yeah, they don't need me. You know what I mean? I always feel like instead the other side, you know, could do with more help, because I believe that more representation is always better. Diversity of opinions and all that.
I see.
Yeah.
So that was an overarching motivation to help the PSP. But in terms of because you mentioned that you did see them in Parliament as NCMPs, was there their policies, or at least their speeches in Parliament, did they resonate with you more or something? Was it something that inspired you to want to help them?
So I realized that they were very active in Parliament, actually. Yeah. Right. They filed a lot of PQs, you know, for a small party. Yeah. They also raised a lot of motions. Yeah. Yeah. So I saw that they were always trying to ask for like the full picture of things, like more information, which I feel is always good, you know. More information is always better than less information. Even if in the course of that, you know, maybe like, now with the media and all that, you have a lot of information everywhere. And although sometimes you can also create misinformation, but I think at least you have that, to discern from what is right and wrong, right? Rather than having no information, right? So I appreciated what they were doing in Parliament, trying to ask for data and all that, which I feel is important for Singaporeans as well to understand what is actually going on. So that attracted me.
And like specifically 𝗬𝗏𝗏 and 𝗦𝗂𝗏? I mean, given that they were the two from the PSP, or was it just the general mantra of the PSP, like the manifesto?
Or even Tan Cheng Bock himself.
Yeah, Tan Cheng Bock also.
Yeah, I think Dr. Tan also did sort of influence my decision to join, because I think PSP stands for like people-centric and compassionate, So it gels with my own values. There are three things that I find are important to me. Okay, one is diligence. Diligence to me is very important, and I felt that the party was being very diligent by the sheer number of things that they did in Parliament. Right. Then the second one I really appreciate is independent thinking. To me, that's very important. To have the freedom to do that, right, and not be constrained by external factors, but to have the ability to do that. And I felt that they did that, in coming up with their own views of things, And the last one is compassion and empathy. To me, that's very important.
So I mean, like your peers who you used to work with or your classmates, if they see Stephanie Tan now and hearing what you say, is this something that they would say, oh yeah, she's always been someone to, be led by her values and conviction rather than what everyone is doing?
Yeah, idealistic you mean? Yes. Yes, I've always been that idealistic one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the one like volunteering and stuff like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I see. But so, I mean, because, us lay people, we're not very clued in on that whole process, right? What does it mean to join the political party? Right? Like, do you have interviews with Dr. Tan or 𝗬𝗏𝗏 or 𝗦𝗂𝗏, or were you just on the ground, just started to walk the ground? Or what's that process of getting into the party and becoming part of the inner circle?
I think at least for PSP, I don't know about other parties, but for us, when you join us, we will ask you which area you're interested to help out in. Groundwork, or you're interested in doing policy, interested in doing comms. Then we try to fit you in because we also want you to do something that you like, right? But the fact that you choose one option doesn't mean you can't do anything else. So when I joined, I started by walking the ground actually. So I remember my first one was at West Coast Market. I joined them. It was quite funny. I didn't know. I turned up in a white shirt.
Wrong party.
And then during photo taking, they said, maybe you just stand at the side.
Serious?
Yeah, 'cause, clueless, right?
You're probably thinking, ayo, this one cannot already. Cannot.
Yeah, because I didn't have the party shirt yet, so I just came in my own clothes.
Okay.
Just wore a white shirt.
So you
jeans.
realized along the way at some point, you're like, oh shit.
I realized. So that was that. I remember that. Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So that was my first activity. But then I joined the policy team. I helped out with research. I helped out with editing speeches. Yeah. So I think then along the way, you just try to. There are many other events that the party hosts. Then you're free to join actually. So a volunteer free to join, and then slowly along the way, if you start, maybe you exhibit some qualities, and if the leadership takes note of that, then they might approach you to say, hey, maybe you want to do something more. Yeah. So it's quite organic, isn't it?
Was there anything about that process that surprised you? Because going in, I'm guessing, I don't know how much you knew about what it would be like. But,
nothing. Because I signed up cold. Because when I joined, they will ask me, did somebody bring you here or somebody introduce you, right? No, I signed up cold on the website. Yeah.
So then what surprised you about that whole process? Even before you were being put up for candidacy, just volunteering, anything that surprised you or really opened your eyes?
Opened my eyes. You realize that, political parties made up of such a diverse range of people. And I was telling my husband that. Then she's like, you know why? Because you have never been in army. You don't know what it's like. To him, I'm, like you said, the Singaporean track, right? I only know people from my school. And then, you get to know people who are more like yourself. And you don't really get to meet other people, right? But, guys different. You go NS, you meet a lot of different kinds of people. So I think it's the same when I joined the party. I realized, wow, yeah. But I do enjoy that, like getting to know different people. You know, you realize that you can be linked all by that one common purpose, right? For Singapore, and you join PSP. But you can have so many different opinions and views of how you want to get there. Yeah. So there is a lot of internal things that you handle along the way as well.
Sure. I mean, you spoke about the things that attracted you about the PSP, like diligence being one of them. But there are a lot of opposition parties beyond the PSP. They're also very diligent, very much on the ground. You know, why didn't it cross your mind to join those other parties and walk the ground with them? Or just meet more of them and get a taste of what they're like, and then choose which one you want to spend more time with?
I think it was the 𝗙𝗲𝗏𝗏 factor maybe.
Okay.
The compassionate part I felt.
But what compassionate part of about?
No, because he himself, he was in PAP and then he came out and did his own thing, right?
Yeah.
So I didn't know that even when he was in PAP, he was not afraid to be different, speak his own view, you know?
In some way, he was also on the track, right? He was on the track, then he
so like
he was far down the track.
So I see that independent thinking part is very close to what I appreciate.
I see.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Go ahead. So you were volunteering and all. Then when did it start becoming part of the conversation that okay, you might run as a candidate? Because you volunteered 2023, right?
Yeah, 2023.
23. So you joined the policy team. I'm guessing that your work was appreciated and it stood out. So at what point did it go like, oh, this is the next level for Stephanie?
Oh, I don't remember the exact time. I think probably maybe late 2024. Maybe. Yeah.
Did that come as a surprise to you, or could you already know like, okay I'm in the running, or?
No lah, I didn't really think much about that lah. But it's just that when it happened, my husband was like, I told you. He was always like, I'm the first one who spotted you as being somebody that he thought would be a suitable candidate.
And was it a very clear yes for you, or was it something you had to think through?
No, I did have to think, because I have a family, I have young kids. I have to think through these kind of things. So I remember I spoke to 𝗲𝗲 also, because she also has children, right? And she's like female also lah. So I asked her for her advice.
And what advice?
She told me that it's manageable, because that time I was worried about public scrutiny and the effect on my children. And she said that actually for her, she found it okay. Like she didn't deliberately, expose them to the media. She says it's actually okay. So that gave me some reassurance that maybe I can do this. But of course, I need to also ask my family. My family support is very important. Right? All those times that I'm here or I was in GE, then my husband have to be the one, right? We don't have a helper, so he has to be the one taking care of the kids.
He took leave, right, during GE?
He took 2 weeks. 2 weeks leave.
So it's a full family effort. But I mean, speaking of that GE experience, right?
Yeah.
We did go on the ground to Pioneer as well.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, we went to every constituency.
Because we had a bus that brought us to every single constituency in Singapore, and we, filmed some content in each of them. I remember we went to Pioneer, and we were looking quite hard at how many posters each candidate had, all that. And Pioneer is a very foreign place to both of us, right?
You're Easties, is it?
I'm Eastie.
I grew up in Bishan, near RI, everything. So the thing is, we did find that one thing we did discover during the election, just being on the ground, is that the West Coast, that whole area, is massive. So just trying to even do something like spot posters and all that, you can be circling around for very long and you don't see anything. Or if you want to go from one public area to another public area, can be a very long drive or very convoluted and go around.
Like McDonald's was 3 kilometers away. We're like, where could a place in Singapore, McDonald's is 3 kilometers away?
Yeah.
Which part were you at?
That was West Coast.
West Coast. But even Pioneer, because we're not familiar with it, so it seemed everywhere felt very far. Was there anything that you were surprised by being on the ground during the GE and actually walking around and seeing how big the ground is and all?
Actually, I grew up in the West. So I grew up in Boon Lay and Jurong West.
Oh, that's the west of the West.
Yeah, west of the West. So actually, I'm quite familiar with Pioneer.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you are like a daughter of Pioneer.
But Pioneer is like only one condo in the whole Pioneer.
Really?
Constituency. The condo is above Jurong Point, that major shopping mall. Then the rest are HDB.
I see.
Yeah. I mean, but to be frank, before I was there walking the ground, I didn't go into deep inside to the HDBs. But I live, that would be now considered West Coast. Right? Because there's a boundary there.
Yeah.
Right? But I used to go to Jurong Point every week when I was a kid.
So it's your crib lah.
Yeah.
So walking there is natural also lah. Like walking the ground there feels natural.
Except that my sense of direction is very bad. So I always get lost. Then I need my team to help me say, okay, now we're going to go this spot. I'm like, where is it?
Yeah. But also during the G, I mean, beyond just the physical part of us getting lost on the ground, we also did find that PSP's presence online, social media and all during the election, or at least the stuff being written about them all, didn't feel as pronounced as we thought it would be. We thought it'd be a very big fight there. I mean, now we're a bit removed from the election. When looking back, do you think there was a reason why it felt like that for people who are observing from the side?
I think we made it a point, not to say that the other people didn't play it clean, but we made it a point for our campaign to be a clean campaign. Maybe because of that, not many controversies, not many memeable things, right? Maybe that led to what people feel there's a bit of silence on our end.
Yeah.
Right. And we focus very much on our manifesto actually.
I see.
We relied a lot on it, and because to us it's a very big part of it is our policy.
Yeah.
We are big on policy.
Yeah.
Right, which explains our 80-page manifesto, which you guys said the page will
the
move,
sound
right?
effect, the sound effect.
The 𝗬𝗲𝗧.
We checked before you came on, still got the sound effect.
Work in progress.
Okay, work in progress.
Good to hear.
Yeah, we accept the feedback. Yes.
So, but you're saying you focus a lot on the manifesto.
Yeah, we focus a lot on the policy, actually. So, but the truth is, not many Singaporeans are interested in policy, deep policy. Not that many.
Yeah. So does that, does that worry you in some way? Because, it seems like the opposition politicians who got the most airtime were those who sang a lot, those who, that memed themselves into oblivion. And they got a lot of airtime. Even today, people are still like, wow, the look left, look right guy and all that. Do you feel like that's something you need to do more of as a politician? Or?
But I don't think we want to attract attention for I'm not commenting on whether, they did it that way. But for us, we wouldn't go down that, attract attention for the sake of it. We still need to stick to what we believe in, But we do realize that we definitely need to walk the ground more. And improve our social media game, definitely. So we are working on that.
I did ask also because I did see you, your National Day, I think you sang something on your social media and all. So I was just wondering whether... I
hesitated a lot before I posted it.
I was just wondering whether there was a direction that you also...
Now everybody needs to sing, okay? Go for singing classes and all.
Okay. So we are more deliberate now. We try to see how we can make our content more interesting. And attractive,
So there is an understanding that, it does need to... The packaging needs to be
correct.
better.
So actually really, after GE, right, after we got over the very disappointed bit, right, we actually really spent a lot of time looking at all this feedback. From you guys, from people that we talked to, from members of the party and volunteers. Then we really, really sat down to discuss what we can do better.
And what else? What other kinds of feedback came up? Because the digital presence, social media, one big thing. When you all sat down and really dug deep, what else stood out? What else do you look back on and like, we could have done better?
So we feel that because we still feel very strongly about policy, but we thought maybe we need to improve the way we communicate policy to Singaporeans, right? So one way is we moved the physical newsletter online, the Palm, right? So now it's on Substack. And we chose that because we feel that there's a community there who might, engage in discussions about these issues. So that was one first step that we took.
And I mean, kudos to you. Like the first issue came out last week.
Monday,
Monday. I actually enjoyed reading it.
Oh, thank you.
And the fact that, going from flipping with sound effects to Substack, I'm like, change is happening, man.
And I think some AI generated pictures to help also. It makes it clearer for everyone.
So but I like to use M dashes.
Oh, then that's your problem.
I love it.
You love it.
And everything I write is 100% original.
100%.
Actually,
but
the 𝗏 is going to screw you over.
As in people are going to perceive it as...
So how must deliberately remove the 𝗏?
That's what we've been doing.
But I mean, like it's heartening to know, because one question we did have was after GE and after the CEC changes, which we want to talk about also, was like, how is PSP going to survive? You know, what are they going to do? How it's 5 years till the next election? How are they going to maintain the momentum? And the Substack is encouraging. And what's the website again? If people wanted to sign up, we can put a link in the show notes also. But what is it? The 𝗲𝗵?
The 𝗲𝗵.
PSP 𝗲𝗵.
Okay.
.substack.com. Okay. So that was one change. Well, what else have you all done after the review?
Yeah. So the other is because we realized that we need to be more deliberate in the way we position ourselves to the public, and to highlight that there is rejuvenation in the party. Right? So after Dr. Tan sort of stepped down from the CC, we had to push people forward. Like what I mean is, like, it's not that we don't have young people in our party. We actually do. But they have been working behind the scenes in policy, in comms, So we hope, we can't force them, right? Because they have their own considerations as well, right? But where we can, and for people who are willing to take that further step, we want to maybe put them in more media-facing roles or more public roles, so that people do know that we actually have talented, younger members and volunteers who are very dedicated to our cause, and who are here to, go the long way for the party, right? Because for alternative parties in Singapore, the journey is very long, right? Like you mentioned, PSP is 2019, right? So we are 5 plus 6. See? So if you look at the experience of other parties, WP, SDP, they've been here for a long time, even PAP, right? Decades. So I think Singapore electorate is the kind where you need time to slowly gain their trust, right? But so for us, we also want to give ourselves a bit of grace, like as much as we, it's important to reflect, and we did, right, to do reality checks. We also, I don't think we should be too pessimistic because of the result of one election. We think longer. That's what I tell the younger people, especially those who are a bit disappointed, with what happened. So I tell them maybe take a long perspective of things. And at the same time, another realization that we had was that, politics is not only through parliament, actually it happens outside. Through media and all that. Like we see how recently, the Canberra thing was brought up. Just on social media alone, but you can initiate change. So we are heartened by that, and I think that there is still a lot that we can do, even if we are not in parliament.
But do you also look back at the strategy, between putting 𝗏𝗏 𝗏𝗏 and Dr. Tan in the same GRC? And taking them out from the areas that they had contested, or basically combining forces as opposed to spreading them out. Is that something that was discussed?
I think at that time I was not in the leadership.
But now looking back,
so I believe they did discuss, and of course they decided that was the strategy that they took.
Okay, but since the election, I think the makeup of the CEC has changed quite a bit. And Dr. Tan stepping down, but also 𝗲𝗄 stepping down. And 𝗲𝗄 is someone that has been on this podcast, and I think I actually really enjoyed talking to her, because I'd seen her in Parliament, but hearing her actually talk very eloquently about policies and all, I was actually, she's very heartened that there's someone who thinks a lot about these things. Like, but at the same time, there was also this in the background. There seemed to be a lot of changes going on in the makeup of the CEC, even leading up to the election and all, in the CEC of the PSP, right? Where, some time ago, 𝗏𝗏 stepped down, 𝗲𝗄 took over. Then just before election, 𝗏𝗏 stepped up. Then, right after election now, 𝗲𝗄 is out. Like, for those, especially we're not privy to all, how a CEC works and all, like, why was there so much shake-up within the CEC in such a short period of time?
Actually, at that time, I was also not privy to all of this. But timing is one thing. It just so happened that our party conference is March. right? And then election was like April, May. Yeah. So timing was a coincidence in that way.
Yeah.
I believe that for most political parties, I think we take reference from how PAP does it. So they have cadres. So cadres are those with voting powers, and then they will vote for the 𝗎𝗎. So in a way, you can't really control who gets voted in or not, because it is democratic in that way, right? You get a vote. So I mean, I can't comment too much on why it happened and it was that way.
But maybe the vote where you got co-opted into the 𝗎𝗎, right?
Mine is co-option is different.
So maybe you can give more context of how.
So co-option is the constitution of the party allows the 𝗎𝗎 to co-opt several more members. I think there's a fixed number into the 𝗎𝗎. So majority is all voted in, right, by cadres, but the 𝗎𝗎 has the discretion to co-opt more if needed. And maybe I think the idea is that maybe they feel that they need certain people to fulfill certain roles, which maybe is not found in that current slate, then they can co-opt.
I see. Okay.
Yeah.
So what role do you think you were brought in to fulfill in the 𝗎𝗎?
I think maybe age is one factor.
Okay.
Probably they feel that maybe I can connect with the younger people, both within the party and like the younger electorate.
Well, I mean, I'm guessing it also factored in your performance during GE 2025.
Probably, yeah.
And specifically one incident where I think it brought you to the limelight was the GE Roundtable, the GE 2025, which, I mean, we've been very vocal about how it was so disappointing and it almost felt like a waste of time. And not due to the fault of any of the candidates. It was the format. But for you, right, how come you were the one sent by PSP? And like, how do you think about it, going into it, experiencing it, and even after that, looking back on it?
Why I was the one sent? I also asked the why. And to be honest, when they sent me, I was a bit hesitant because I felt like I'm a first timer, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And at that point in time, we also didn't know what the format would be like, right? And then you look back at the 2021, it's like, wow, such a ferocious debate between like minister and 𝗎𝗲 and all that, right? So I also felt like I'm probably not so suitable for this kind of thing.
But you were getting ready for that kind of debate.
Yeah, I was getting ready for it because
her
we didn't know.
notes and all she was writing, you know.
There was a photo. Do you see the photo? Online, somebody like took a snapshot of all of us.
All your paper.
Then like everybody at the round table, then they were like, if this is a classroom, this is the what student, what kind of student. Then mine was like mager or something, studious. Which I admit I am, you know.
The diligence,
Yeah,
right?
I prepared for it. I prepared quite hard for it for a few days.
Yeah. How did you prepare?
I mean, I familiarized myself with our policies. Right? That's the most important. Because I need to be able to bring out our policies at the debate, right? Yeah. So that's one. And just familiarizing myself with like the topics of the day at that point in time. 𝗓𝗟 was one thing, right? That was going on at that time. So I had to do all this research and read up and prepare.
Were you nervous or were you slowly building your confidence?
I was a bit nervous before I went there. And later when I realized the format, I relaxed a bit. Sorry to the readers who wanted, the viewers who wanted something exciting, but I was a little bit like, okay.
No, it's not on you to apologize. It's not on you. Yeah. But when did you find out about the format? On the day itself?
On the day itself, just before filming.
Oh, geez.
So when you go there, you do your makeup and all that, you fix your sound system and all that. And then they give you the questions that we ask. So it's about half an hour or 1 hour before cameras start to roll. So that time you have that time to prepare. To actually sort of gather your thoughts. Because you don't have much time to speak, you know, right? 1 minute.
Correct. Also depending on the size of your party, right?
But everybody 1 minute.
Oh yeah.
Only
the party
4
broadcast.
minutes.
The party broadcast was the one where it depends on the size of your party.
Party broadcast, I did the Chinese one. That one was even more stressful for me. I was really stressed.
No, but before we get to that, more on the roundtable. So, like when you were going through it, I'm guessing it's definitely not as adversarial in 2020, right?
Correct.
So, I mean, going through it, how did that feel?
So that one, the challenge was the time limit, right? Only 1 minute.
To condense your argument into
and there's no right of rebuttal, you see? It goes in a specific direction. So starting with the party with the least number of candidates, then it gets bigger, right? So PAP is the last one, right? So you don't get to rebut unless you do what? Mr. Lim Tin did lah. He did rebut, but he used up his time for the new
correct.
answer. So that was his strategy, you know. But I didn't lah. So I just try to answer the question as much as I can and bring up as many policies as I can and then make full use of that 1 minute. Yeah, so that was my approach.
Taking exam.
yeah.
She's the one who's like writing right until the teacher say, okay, stop, just squeeze it a few more words. So then looking back, like, I mean, I as a Singapore citizen was extremely disappointed by it because I felt it did not contribute anything to the conversation. But having gone through it, like, is there something that you wish there was more of? Like, you did all the homework. Do you wish that there was more chance to debate and, you know, rebut?
Yes, of course. Even like the final, there was a closing speech.
Yeah.
That one we had 2 minutes. I think PAP had 8 minutes or something like that. Yeah. So there are some things that he said at the end which I couldn't rebut. So I think I went onto Facebook to say something about it at the time.
I see.
So yeah.
Then about the party broadcast in Mandarin, you were nervous because of the language or?
Okay. My Chinese is still okay, right? But the stressful part is you only have 2 takes. 2 takes, and even if you make a mistake, you fumble, you have to continue. Then at the end, you choose the better one of the 2 takes, which might have been both bad, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the speech is quite long, there's a teleprompter, you read.
But you don't want to fumble.
You don't want to fumble. And then because Chinese, you know, you don't use it as much as you do English lah, right? Even if I'm like, okay, still bilingual. And it was quite the policy guy who wrote that, his Chinese is very good lah. And then he wrote like very difficult words also, you know. So even before that, I was discussing with Hazel because she also did the Chinese one. We each did one Chinese one. And she went for the Chinese roundtable because the Mandarin is very good.
She's like a Chinese teacher when she speaks.
She's like a news anchor kind of like, you know. And I'm definitely not that. So yeah, for me quite stressful lah. I remember I was like, then at the end of it, when they said cut, I was like, I took a deep sigh of relief and everyone was giggling, you know, in the studio.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. But that to me was very stressful.
I mean, we all couldn't stand the round table and all. But I think the general consensus was that you were one of the bright sparks that came out from it. In the sense, people walked away thinking, okay, this person, she's pretty good, right? I mean, in the midst of the election, or that, did that feel for you like a point where you know, where it was a high point or anything? Like, was it building up to that, and like how did it feel at that point for you? Like now you are almost like the face of the PSP, you know, on the mainstream media and all.
I didn't really, to be honest, I was too busy to think of this. I was just going through, you know, doing, because the schedule is packed for the day, right? You have to go to this place, you have to do this, then you have to go down, go and, you know, walk the ground, right? So I think at that point in time, I didn't have so much capacity to like let things sink in and realize what I was doing and what was happening. But I had fun though. I feel that I had fun throughout the whole process because everything is very new to me. Never done this before, you know, and also along the way, I need help of people. I need to ask people for advice, right? Just because I'm the candidate doesn't mean I know everything. Actually, in fact, there are many things which I didn't know, you know, so I had to go and ask the more experienced people in the party, actually, how do you do this and all that? So there was also a lot of learning along the way. But I think my husband told me that I think you're having fun. I said, yeah, maybe I am. You know, because I think I was not that stressed lah, I feel. If I'm more stressed about my kids.
Sure, okay.
You know?
As in stressed about, as in
like their welfare and all of that worries me more. You know what I mean?
Education and all that.
Their well-being lah.
Okay, well-being.
Yeah. So I think I had fun and I enjoyed myself, and I just felt it was something that not many people maybe will get to experience. Right? And just made the most of it.
So, I mean, coming out of it, you have chosen to still be very involved in politics, right? Because I can imagine someone puts in their all, doesn't win their SMC, can be like, okay, you know what, I gave it a good shot. But what about GE gave you even more conviction? Or I'm guessing you want to continue the momentum and all, but what about that whole experience do you take away from, like, in terms of whether you learned something or it changed you fundamentally?
I think maybe 2 things which contributed to me deciding that I want to continue. Right, one is that even during the GE and even after that, I I received a lot of messages and encouragement from like residents from Pioneer and even out of Pioneer, even West Coast. Because when we walk the ground, it doesn't mean that when I stay at Jurong Point, I only see Pioneer people. A lot of people that come to me are also from West Coast or also from other parts of Singapore. I remember there was this guy who said, "Oh, actually, I live in Geylang, but I came down to see you and I just wanted to like encourage you." So there are quite a lot of these people, and then I felt that actually what we do is, regardless of the outcome, the percentage, the numbers, right? There are actually people who appreciate us for doing what we do. So that's one big factor, which that sort of made me feel that maybe I can continue doing this. Right? And then the other one is looking more broadly at Singapore's political landscape. I still think that we need to continue to strengthen the presence of alternative parties. And I don't think that just because of 1GE like that, it's like gone. I don't think it's like that. I think we can there's still a lot of work that we can do.
So I mean, on that note, right, like what are some of your strongest political convictions? Because I know you've spoken about like education. Maybe we can start with that. Like you have a lot of thoughts about education, PSLE. I'm guessing it's informed a lot by being a mother to 2 children who are in the system. So maybe we start with that. Like, what are some fundamental things that you think need to change?
So when I gave my view back then about why I think PSLE maybe should be made optional, right? The main reason was because I felt that, and I still feel that our children, when they are age of 10, 11, 12, which is the age where you start preparing for PSLE, you don't prepare when you're 12, Actually, a lot of parents prepare their kids way before that. I feel that at that young age, it might not be appropriate to subject our children to that kind of stress. And that was the main reason why I felt that PSLE it's not beneficial for our children in a way. But other than that, now with, the increasing dominance of AI that can do many, many things, right? Maybe we need to rethink also how our entire education system needs to evolve with that, because at the end of the day, with our pen and paper high-stakes exam, what are you testing? You are testing memory, you are testing logic. Not that these are not important, but in an age where next time, whenever you need information, you can get a fairly accurate answer from AI, maybe we need to also focus on other aspects more, right? And I feel I'm someone, I don't think that you can teach creativity. My experience as a parent is that I feel that children are born creative. Until you tell them that this is wrong, or until you tell them that you shouldn't take this risk. Otherwise they are creative, they are not afraid to make mistakes, right? And I feel that it's important for the education system to preserve their creativity. When you have too many exams, you sort of take away a bit of that, right? Because then you study for the sake of it, and then you are so afraid of making mistakes. You lose the mark one here, half mark there. All this becomes so magnified. You know what I mean? But
I mean, like going back to what you said about the PSLE, I get how it can be very stressful, but don't you think that the parents and the society in general plays a part, not just the fact that there's a PSLE? Because I remember when like years ago when we were taking PSLE, it felt like, my parents didn't really get stressed out. Whereas
not so
now,
much, right?
Now I'm a new parent as well. And when I look at the people around me, when I hear like what you said, when you're 10 as a parent, you need to start preparing. Then that's a problem with the parents as opposed to the PSLE. And especially given that you went through the PSLE, I assume because you went to a very good secondary school, you did well for the PSLE. But why? How do you square that? Like the role of the society, social norms, the competition versus the structure of the PSLE in the first place?
Yeah, I agree with you that our parents' generation and our generation now as parents very different. We are very different, right? So I feel that now it's also because we have so much information, and we have so many of these chat groups, right? That you can join, and then you start to hear what other parents say, and then you feel like, oh, maybe I should also do something. All of that contributes, to this competition and all that. So my perspective is that as long as you have this exam there are parents who will be worried, and I'm not sure if it works if you tell them not to be, you know what I mean? Right? But if there is no such examination, actually a lot of these parents are also very relieved. They're also very happy. I have so many friends who say, oh yay, today we went to celebrate PSLE is over. Or they say that now it's a very stressful period for them because PSLE is coming, right?
Yeah, I've heard parents say, I'm taking the PSLE this year. Then I'm like, what are you talking about?
Correct. Yeah. So I'm not sure how effective it would be if you just tell parents that, hey, don't be so worried. Not sure if that will work.
I see.
You know what I mean?
But I mean, in some way, isn't the PSLE is just a form of an exam, right?
Yeah.
And there are other ways that in other countries they test the children at a certain age.
Correct.
In Singapore, like the social stresses are maybe what make it bad. But I mean, the PSLE, it has sort of worked for a whole generation of people, yourself included. I think a lot of the streaming also allow you to enjoy opportunities, right? And that really brought you to places that you wouldn't have imagined going. So is the PSLE just the boogeyman for bigger societal issues we have?
But But maybe we also need to ask ourselves the question whether if we don't have it, right? Let's say we remove PSLE, does it mean that our kids will not do as well as we did last time? That nobody will know as well, right? Right? It's either or, you see. You can't say that, just because we did it last time and it worked, and then now we still have to continue. If because of how society has changed, there are these problems that are coming in which were not in existence last time.
Okay. So then, in that way, I agree that policies shouldn't be locked in stone because things change, right? And just now you mentioned that, am I right to say that when you say you can't just tell parents to not worry because it's almost human nature?
Yeah.
Is that generally how you think about policy, that you can have your policy, but you also need to accept human nature for what it is, and also that things change? Is that generally how you think about, okay, what needs to happen in this particular area? Because I can imagine someone who is very dogmatic, full of conviction for a certain policy, no matter what, you don't change. And that is somewhat lauded in some way, that you need that iron in your policy, your belief. Where do you sit on that? Is it very important for you that policy really needs to evolve, and human nature, certain aspects of human nature is not the best, is not ideal, but that's who humans are?
I come from the perspective where I feel that the policy should enable, and where there are pros and cons, we need to consider both properly. Like, for instance, in the case of PSLE, the pro is that maybe this will help. It's a milestone for the kids. It's a checkpoint for them, right? But what about the cons, right? And then now let's look at the cons of it, okay? It causes stress, mental issues for some people. Pros and cons, right? Then you think, if I take away this exam, maybe I can continue to achieve some of the pros through other ways of testing, like you mentioned, like how it's done in other countries. So I think we should consider, holistically, rather than saying,
this is the way
it has to be like that. Always has to be like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, education is, a lot of people are talking about what's going on in our schools these days, like primary schools especially.
Yeah.
A lot of recent cases of bullying that have come into the picture. And the thing is, like, nobody has any good answers for what's going on in when it comes to bullying, right? I think Harish and I, we've had discussions about, should we bring back caning for
public
children? Public caning for children and all that. And I mean, as painful as it sounds, at the same time, it's like very scary, the voice message that we heard last week and all.
Yeah.
When you see these things going on in our schools, like, if you were in a position of how to influence policy, how do you think these should be addressed?
I think the bullying cases that we know of are those that somehow get exposed in media, right? But it's only a proportion of it. There are many cases that actually do not make it to the media, right? And for those that happen, and I mean, MOE has come out to say that they do not think that it is a desirable trend, right, for these things to be publicized in the way like it is now, leading to doxing and all that, and all that, right? And I was thinking, then in that case, what can we do to reduce not the incidences of bullying? That one has to be addressed separately, right? You go down to why children bully others and all that. But in the management of bullying cases, maybe it could be managed better, such that there are fewer incidences where, you know, parents have to feel that they need to come out to throw things out into the public to get attention. And I think the management is the issue here, right? So I think it goes back to the issue of trust. You know, as parents, every time we send our kids to enter the school gates, for example, we're essentially entrusting the school with, you know, certain welfare or basic safety for our kids, right? So the moment you hear that, okay, your kid maybe has been bullied, whether physically or what, right? Then I think that one layer of trust is already broken, you know? Then after that, you make a complaint and then you expect some fair investigation process that is also expeditious, right? And if that doesn't happen, then another layer of trust gets broken, right? Then you feel like, I need to take things into my own hands. Maybe I need to escalate to MOE, or maybe I need to put it out on social media. So I feel that is the reason. And if you want to reduce that, to me, my view is that there should be an authority which, supposing more neutral, which takes care and actively manages and monitors the entire investigation process. And that is what I feel. Because right now, every school does it. I don't know if they do it differently or not, but every bullying case, you have different facts, different school, different management staff, different way of handling things, right? Different rates of efficiency and all that. And for schools that are able to do it well, it's good. But we also need to consider those who have maybe not done it well, right? By an objective standard, right? So what we need is a streamlined process, is a consistent process applied across all schools and all institutes of higher learning, you know, and then you have somebody who is in the know. So right now, I think if you don't escalate to MOE might not know that there's this case, right? But I think as a matter of a procedure, MOE should be informed of every bullying case, you know, that's serious enough for there to be an investigation. And then they should ensure that the process is done fairly to everybody, right? And during the investigation process, it's also important that we protect the alleged victim, because you never know if it's true, right? You're finding out if that really happened. But how about the interim? Interim part is when parents are they're in a conflict, you see. When this thing happens, you say, okay, should I continue to send my kid to school? But I'm afraid, you know, might be bullied again. But if I keep her at home, then how about her progress in the studies? Right? So that period is very sensitive. And I feel that there needs to be a clear process to say that when this happens, maybe the victim is, you know, and the bully maybe separated physically in a different class or what. But there should be some clear steps that are applied across, not just good practices. You know what I mean?
So I mean, as an ex-lawyer and a parent, there's some lawyers who are saying they should just sue the family, the victim. Would you advise them to do that as an ex-lawyer?
I mean, you can. There's nothing stopping you, right, from pursuing a civil claim against somebody. It's difficult to say. I think it really depends on how serious the case we are talking about, you know. And I also do understand where MOE is coming from. You know, I have spoken to teachers and they see this as children, as friends, as like peers and classmates, right? I mean, as much as they can, they want the children to be able to, you know, like get together and be more amicable in the whole process, right? Which is why there's this approach of counselling and all that, right? But I think, of course, it always has to be, the response has always to be proportionate with what happened. You know, sometimes when certain boundaries are crossed and it's crossed too far, it is a bit difficult, I feel. So then maybe you have to take more serious steps.
So, you know, just now you mentioned about having a process that is consistent across schools, you know. So as an opposition politician, I know the role is, to question, to push. But hearing that, how do you sometimes think about things like that? Because that sounds like a lot of extra work. People listening will be like, hey, Stephanie, these teachers and these admin officers, they have so much work. Now you're asking to put another layer of bureaucracy on top.
Correct.
So how do you balance being just an idealist who is just saying things that are, people want to hear, but in actual fact, it's very difficult to execute, versus things that, like something like this, like, is it something you've seen in other industries be done, be it in the legal profession? You know it's possible, and what you're saying is not just fluff and a nice to hear kind of thing.
Correct. So, like you said, we can suggest policies, but cannot enact them.
Yeah.
Much less implement them, right?
Yeah.
So actually, if you talk about this bullying thing, which I envisage, right, my ideal situation would be, ideal situation, actually is for a third party or neutral party to do the investigations, not the teachers. Right? For a few reasons. One, they have their workload already, right? Yeah. It's a workload issue. Second is, not everyone is equally suitable to play and do this investigation thing. It's not teaching, it's different. It's not necessarily what they were trained for. Right? So they are not in the best position to do that. Then of course, then you tell me if you need to find a third party to do it, or let's say MOE has a specific department just to settle it, then you're talking about resources, manpower and all that, right? So it goes back to the question of resources and funding. And for that, I feel that it is funding, or it's rather resources that will be worth spending. But that is my view, you see. Right? Don't know what the government thinks about that.
So how, for yourself as a parent, how do you inoculate your own children against, the ill effects of bullying or peer pressure? Because that happens to everyone at some point or another in their lives.
Correct.
What do you do to tell them to prepare for something like that?
Actually, to me, the main thing is talking to them daily. Really, to find out what is going on every day. I find that so important. Because children, different kinds, I have friends telling me that I would tell them like, my daughter came back and tell me this happened in school today. And he's like, wow, you're very lucky. I asked my son, everything okay? He just replied me, okay. Just one word. So some kids are more expressive, some are not. And I think it's scary that if the victim happens to be someone who is not the outspoken kind, keep it to himself or herself, then nobody will know until if it's just breaking point, then maybe he or she shows some signs, right? But maybe it has been happening for a long time. So I think as parents, I feel that the minimum we should do is to talk to our kids every day, really to ask them beyond, do you have homework? Or when is your 𝗙𝗲 or what? To really ask them, how was your day? Did anything out of the ordinary happen? What conversations do you have with your friends or your teachers? And just to find out from them. Other than that, it's difficult, right? It's just like us also, adults getting along with adults, children getting along with children. They're also bullying among adults.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
Definitely, yeah.
So sometimes it's a learning process also. But we also hope that our children don't have to learn everything the hard way. You know what I mean? So maybe share with them your experience, or tell them that it's okay. It's okay to get help. It's okay to tell people when something bad happens to you. Give them the assurance, let them feel safe to tell you or to tell a teacher or something about what happened. So I always tell my children in school, if anything happens, tell the teacher, don't be afraid. And then you come back and you tell me about it. And
how much do your kids know about what you are doing, volunteering for PSP? I know you mentioned on another podcast that you didn't tell them much that you were going to run, or...
I think I didn't.
But now, I'm sure they see you in the news. I'm sure they... do you think they understand what you're doing?
I think my older one does. Yeah, I think she does understand. Yeah. So she told me, if I were you, I would join PAP. Then I can be the first female prime minister. Then from that statement, I think she understands. I gather that she understands.
But you step in to correct her that you don't have to be PAP only.
No, I told her that. Then she said that next time I might join PAP. Then I told her that I will support you if you join.
Oh, okay. So I thought you would say that I will try to be prime minister myself and everything.
No lah, I didn't want to lie to her lah.
Is it because you got too many white shirts? Is it? You got too many white shirts. So I mean, like the fact that you are a woman in politics, I know like looking at GE 2025, there were certain things said about certain female politicians that, almost like, okay, why, that's a bit like kind of just, I mean, to a certain extent, labeling them like in some way how you were labeled. So how does the party, or how do you protect yourself from just being seen as like a token female politician?
I think the reason stems from very few women joining politics in the first place. So if you just look at numbers, right, it's easy to think that these are just token representations. Right? Yeah. But I think because of that, it's all the more important to encourage more females to enter politics, right? Because it's beneficial at the end of the day for the demographic makeup of your policymakers to reflect the demographic makeup of your electorate, right? So our population is about half male, half female, but we don't have that half-half proportion in terms of politicians, right? And it's so important that you have policymakers who really can connect with and understand the struggles of your electorate. Then you can create suitable policy for that. And I think the best guard against preventing this symbolism thing is to really just recognize every person based on his or her own merit. Not gender, not race, just by your merit. Yeah.
So I mean, like, with all that in mind, you said the 50-50 makeup and all. When you look outside of Singapore, because you said preparing for the Roundtable, you were studying about the impact on tariffs on Singapore. When you see a president like Donald Trump who specifically is speaking out against DEI, and you see big corporates, closing down their DEI programs, do you feel that like how does that make you think about your own stance on like equal representation, and even outside of DEI, when you think about Singapore going forward, I'm sure you must be aware of what's happening in the world around us, right?
Yeah.
Does that significantly change the way you are thinking about policy?
I think it is not enough to just now I mentioned that you need to recognize every person for his or her merit.
Yeah.
But that alone is not enough. You have to also give everyone the opportunity, right? Otherwise, there's no point, correct? So when it comes to females entering politics, I think if you ask them, a lot of them, their concerns might be like as a mother, or they feel that, they shouldn't be doing this. So I feel that you need to also make it encouraging and sort of like conducive for them to do that. And it might go back to equalizing the roles of the two different genders in terms of family stuff. Like for example, at the last NDR, the announcement of the parental leave, I think they're sort of moving towards equalizing paternity and maternity leave. I think that is a very good way to start. Yeah. Because if right from the outset you recognize that, why is it women 4 months but father only 2 weeks, right? And then you don't make it possible also for the father to be involved more. Then how do you equalize that, right? So I think the parental leave part is a very good trend that we should continue. And then I think but this takes time, of course. This whole thing, how we change views of the society over time. Then you have to make it more conducive for women to also come out and do something like that. Then slowly.
And what about the new world order that we are hearing about? Because you are someone who strikes me as being idealistic, which is good. But then sometimes I look around the world and I'm like, maybe Singapore not that bad. Like, does that kind of crimp or curtail whatever vision you have for Singapore? Bearing in mind how other countries are kind of like becoming more polarized, more far right.
I always feel that we should compare ourselves with people who are doing things better than us. There's always somebody who is doing. We can't say that we're already very good, But what do you expect? Sometimes you talk to residents, that's what they tell you. You look at this country, it's so bad there. Why should I complain? In Singapore, right? So that's the same mindset, you see. But I tell them that, but we should still try to improve where we can, right? We should compare ourselves with people who are doing it right or better than us. So I don't think that should be a sort of like, we don't need to do anything because we are already quite okay. I think we should always try to do better lah.
Yeah.
But speaking of that, because you've had time to reflect on the results of the GE, we've spoken a bit about what PSP can do better. But when you think about what the PAP, what they did during GE, whereas really they doubled down on that, the narrative of New World Order and Trump's tariffs changing things up. What do you all feel about what PAP did during the election? Like, were you all surprised by it? And in retrospect, does it say something about our electorate as well, that there was quite a significant voter swing towards safety, right?
Correct.
What were you all discussing about that aspect of it?
I think at first we were, after we got to know that, then we realized actually we shouldn't be surprised because actually in other countries the same thing happened, right? I think shortly before our GE happened in Canada, it happened in Australia, the same trend, right?
Yeah.
So we were like, sometimes there are some factors out of our control, right? External factors, but I mean, despite that, all the other parties were handled the same circumstance as us, you see. And we also need to think about maybe how we could have done it better. Maybe we needed to be more reassuring to the public, to tell them that, we understand that this is going on, we share your concerns, but if we let us come forward, we will also try to propose better ideas and all that. I think we tried to do that, but maybe it didn't go, it wasn't effective. Yeah.
So then going forward, what are some things that people can look out for that is going to be coming out of the PSP? I know you have mentioned that you might be starting a podcast.
Yeah.
Right?
What
else?
Be. What else? We are gearing up on reaching out in the social aspects. Yeah, because now that we are no longer in Parliament, I feel that there's still many things that we can do. So the last term, actually, because we were in Parliament, we had to channel a lot of our resources into our parliamentary work. So we had less resources to go look at other aspects, right? But my view is that we can still actually do a lot to help Singaporeans directly. So we are looking to expand our opportunities for our members to volunteer with maybe doing some collaborations with other organizations who are willing to do it, or even starting some of our own initiatives that will directly help somebody. We can suggest policy. Right? At the end of the day, it also takes two hands to clap. Depends on how willing the government is also to accept policies that maybe give credit where credit is due. So that is a long process. Right? So in the meantime, what do? We can't just wait for that to happen, right? We still have to do other things, and we can directly help Singaporeans in other ways. So that's another, I think, big chunk of stuff that we're going to slowly expand on. But we're working on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I mean, a few weeks ago we had Professor 𝗬𝗏 sitting in the exact same chair you're sitting, and he said PSP is dead. Like, what do you, as the face of the PSP, what is the one thing that you say to him and all other naysayers?
Okay.
Have you heard that a lot, that sentiment?
I think I did, yeah. He gave us a grade D or something in one of his
is it?
earlier, like post-GE, there was quite a lot of talk. I think he graded every political party. I think I remember he gave us a grade D or something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe is it because I'm idealistic or what? Actually, I genuinely do feel that we are not dead and that we have a future. I really feel so, which is why I'm still here, doing all this. I do feel that we are young and we need time. And I feel that we should give ourselves the time that we need. And then I believe in starting small. Do everything slowly, gradually. And Singaporeans will see your actions more than what you say. Right? I mean, as much as I can sit here and tell them what I'm going to do and all that, at the end of the day, they're going to look at what we did. Right? So same for the GE. The last GE, some people ask, where were you in the last 5 years, right? So our job now is for the next 5 years to show them that we are walking the talk. We are really here and not just paying lip service to you. Right? And I think as long as we do that, as long as we still have a core group of people in PSP with that vision, I think we can do something. Yeah.
And if people wanted to find out more about what you all do. I know there's the newsletter.
Yes.
There is the website.
Yeah.
Anywhere else they should go?
We do post quite regularly on Facebook, on IG, not just the party one, like my IG or what, the individual persons. Yeah. So there's that's where you can get most of the information about what we're doing. But if you want to join us, it's through the website, and then we'll have someone call you. Once you sign up, we have someone from membership who will contact you by phone. Traditional way, by phone, call you and speak to you and ask you some questions.
And when will the manifesto be updated to not have the page? When can we expect?
No more page flip sounds, please. Yeah, just
I think give us a few months.
a few months, okay.
Give us a few months to update the website.
Okay. Because the manifesto we went through. It's worthwhile reading all the party manifestos.
Did you read ours?
Yeah, of course. We did our research and all. There is good stuff there, and I think it's important for people to be informed. So I hope you start your own podcast soon also.
Soon, yeah.
I hope so too.
Yeah, awesome.
Not easy, right? Though?
But it's more, being a politician also not easy, right? But you do it, right? We spent 8 or 9 days going around Singapore, and we were like, wow, this is damn tiring.
Exactly. It takes so many years, right? Even starting a podcast, it takes years.
Yeah, so
that's why I must tell Professor Wale, give us a chance. It takes years to do all these things.
We will send him this clip. Give PSP a chance. In a few years' time, we can ask him again, PSP dead or not? And hopefully his answer will be a resounding no.
Yeah, hopefully, yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
But cool. Thanks so much for sharing. It's great to have you. Now we just have that final question, the One Shiok Thing, which, we will go first to give you like a couple of minutes to think of something. Terence, you have your One Shiok Thing.
Mine's just a very frivolous thing. But there is a YouTube channel called 𝗤𝗲 that I found recently. The one cool thing they do is that they started to do animations of turning modern, IP, like modern movies, modern TV shows and all that into those old school adventure games that you play on the PC. So the video that caught my attention was one where they turned Indiana Jones into a 1992 adventure game. Those point and click where the Indiana Jones will move around the screen and you click it. So they created that and made a YouTube video of it. But more interestingly, I think recently they had a lot of views because they created a Squid Game, the show Squid Game, as a Game Boy game.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, so they created a Game Boy game that was based on the first season of Squid Game, where you would have to play all the obstacles on a Game Boy, and it's an actual game that they have released
that you
now.
can
download and an emulator and play.
Are Game Boy still being sold? I used to play Game Boy.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Now can find.
It's coming back, right?
There are businesses building like Game Boys that you can play the old cartridges on.
Is it? I will buy it.
Yeah. Nintendo doesn't even bother already, but there are businesses that are called retro. They build retro versions.
There was that one company that you mentioned was profiled by 𝗙cie 𝗂𝗍, right?
The guy who started Oculus, he builds like Game Boys that play the old school Game Boy games. And
I love that.
They're made of metal and built to last. Because he also believes that technology shouldn't be as disposable and as it is now. So he wants to build stuff that can last a long time.
Oh, you used to play the Game Boy?
Yeah, when I was a kid. Mario.
But then how to study for PSLE like that when you play so much Game Boy?
Maybe I didn't really study that hard. Our parents didn't really...
Okay.
I remember playing a lot of Game Boy.
So you play video games all that?
Okay. With my cousins.
Wow.
Cool.
Okay.
Okay, my One Shiok Thing is also a YouTube channel. It's called 𝗤𝗲 So she basically does videos about architecture and design. So one video I saw that came up was, I think this is, she profiled a toilet in Tokyo's Yoyogi Fukamachi Mini Park. So it's a toilet that is transparent, but when you lock the doors,
then it turns,
it fogs up. As in, it blocks up. And why she highlighted it was that the whole goal of, I think, that toilet by the architectures was to make toilets beautiful. And she said the side effect of making it transparent after you leave is like, if you dirty it, it's very obvious. So she said it's a very smart design because if you look at it in a park, it's very nicely lit. So at night, it looks beautiful, like an art installation. But it's a toilet. You go in, you close the door, and there's a row of 5 toilets. So it looks like 5 glass cubes in the center. And a lot of her videos are just talking about architecture, timeless concepts in architecture. what happens when death rituals collide with architecture. So it's a very consumable. It's a lot of YouTube shorts. So it's just videos that make you feel like, oh, that's quite interesting, because we recently had Sandra Riley Tang, Riley the singer, and she was talking about how she made a video earlier this year talking about actually HDB blocks, right? Why can't there be more thought about making them aesthetically pleasing across estates, so that when you fly into Singapore, why can't it be like a beautiful painting almost? And since then I've been thinking, actually Singapore architecture, why can't it be more interesting lah? So I like this channel because it makes you look at common pieces of architecture and like, hey, actually, why can't it be made more cool? I think now it's very easy to be like, okay, just functional. So this one is like a nice, interesting take lah. So that's my One Shiok Thing. And what about you, Stephanie?
I don't have any of these. Can I just say something else?
Sure, of course. Yeah, it doesn't need to be a video channel or anything.
We just spend way too much time on YouTube.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Because my kids are the ones watching YouTube. I'll be the one saying, are you watching something you should be watching?
I see. Okay.
Actually, when I saw the question, like one Shiok Thing, right?
Yeah.
I mean, for me straight away, I was thinking about stuff like eating the food that I like, or taking a nap. What makes me shiok.
Must be shareable.
Shareable.
As in but food also can.
Food also can.
Like a place that people can go themselves.
Yeah, not like nap. Like that would be not a One Shiok Thing.
One Shiok Thing. Okay. Maybe something relevant to GE lah. You know 𝗶𝗲𝗧𝗵𝗶?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I know.
You know 𝗶𝗲𝗧𝗵𝗶,
I
right?
know 𝗶𝗲𝗧𝗵𝗶.
So actually during the whole GE, I was having a bad throat. I was coughing throughout, So during all my interviews and my podcast, I was actually struggling with it. Then I think after my roundtable, right, I think Rice Media wrote something about my throat. They were like, she was only given 1 minute to talk, and yet she was spending like how much of the time trying to clear her throat. Then they were like, give her a 𝗶𝗲𝗧𝗵𝗶 or something like that. And the next day, my one of my good friends in PSP saw that. And then he said, then he actually bought me 𝗶𝗲𝗧𝗵𝗶. So do you know?
I know.
Yeah, and coincidentally now actually I'm also having a.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I took some before I came.
Oh.
But yeah.
So it's helpful.
It's helpful.
Oh.
For me.
The important thing is like you gotta drink it. Then I feel like if you don't drink water or anything for like a couple of hours,
you
gotta let it sit in your throat.
Yeah.
The best is like right before you sleep or take a nap, you take it.
Yeah, it's actually quite nice.
Because I mean, when we did a show in this June where it was 9 shows across 8 days, I bought 𝗶𝗲𝗧𝗵𝗏. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Because like the voice kind of like suffers, and I don't know whether you know, but it is actually used by Broadway stars and all. No, they've made videos talking about how 𝗶𝗲𝗧𝗵𝗏, this magic potion.
Broadways, you mean like Caucasians actually use it?
Yeah. Broadway, West End, and all. If you go TikTok 𝗶𝗲𝗧𝗵𝗏, you get a lot of people who are like professional theatre performers. They swear by 𝗶𝗲𝗧𝗵𝗏.
Wow. So yes, that's my One Shiok Thing.
Oh, awesome. Yeah, that's a good One Shiok Thing. Good One Shiok Thing.
Important One Shiok Thing. Maybe younger people might not know of the effects of
𝗶𝗲𝗧𝗵𝗏 is dope, man. Yeah, but it's really like a thick, viscous liquid that when you drink, you let it sit in your throat.
Correct. This is a herbal Chinese thing, so I thought maybe you not.
Oh, no, I know.
They got the sweet version also now.
In fact, during the show, I was the 𝗶𝗲𝗧𝗵𝗏 supplier. I was like, anybody want 𝗶𝗶𝗏 or not? And everybody come and just like take some 𝗶𝗶𝗏.
Yeah. But I mean, I drank it even as a kid and everything. So I don't know if you did. You did.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, I didn't drink it as a kid.
You need some now.
No. I just probably laughed too much. That's why. Yeah.
But
thank you. Yeah.
Cool. Thanks so much for coming on, Stephanie Tan.
Yeah,
I mean, all the best for the next few years.
Yeah.
And if in future, if there's anything you really feel strongly about, you're always welcome back.
Oh wow, thank you.
Okay, awesome.
Thank you. I remember that.
And hope to hear your podcast soon.
Yeah, that's right. And the flipping pages.
Now I changed the sound.
Yeah,
change something else.
Correct. Yeah, cool. And to everyone listening, thank you so much for watching. The links are all in the show notes, and we'll talk to you all very soon.